Sarah is 38. She's a nurse. She works 12-hour shifts, packs her own lunch, and does her grocery shopping every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. before the store gets crowded. She buys the same things every week, the same cereal, the same coffee, the same orange juice, the same dish soap, the same toilet paper. She has been buying the same list at the same store for 5 years. In 2021, her weekly grocery bill was $167. Today, it is $234. That is $67 more per week, $3,484 more per year for the same list. Sarah blames inflation. She's heard the word 1,000 times. Supply chains, the pandemic, the war in Ukraine. She accepts it. She cuts back on dining out. She skips the brand name coffee once a month. She adjusts. But here's what Sarah does not know. Her bill didn't go up because her groceries got more expensive. There is a word for what happened to Sarah's grocery cart. It is called shrinkflation. Shrinkflation is not a new price on the label. It is a smaller amount inside the package, at the same price or higher. The math changes. The box does not. Here is what happened to Sarah's actual groceries. Her Folgers coffee, 51 ounces, now 43.5 ounces, same red can, same shelf, same price. Her Gatorade, 32 ounces, now 28 ounces, 4 ounces gone, no announcement. Her Frosted Flakes, 24 ounces, now 21.7 ounces. The per ounce price went up 40%. Her Charmin toilet paper, 224 sheets per mega roll, now 208. 16 sheets per roll, quietly removed. Her Cascade dishwasher pods, 62 pods, now 57. The price went up. Across national grocery brands, the average product shrank 14.8% between 2019 and 2025. 1 in 3 grocery items was affected. A powdered drink mix cut itself in half. 6 packets became 4. A cupcake brand reduced its package 36.7%. A dog food bag that once held 50 pounds now holds 44. Sarah didn't buy inflation. She bought the same boxes. She just got less food inside them. But that's not the whole story, because shrinkflation is only the visible part. There are 4 other things happening that Sarah cannot see at all. First, the concave bottom. Many food and beverage companies redesign their containers to have an indented base. The bottle looks the same height on the shelf. The volume inside is smaller. You cannot see the bottom when it's sitting on a shelf. Second, the font. Check the net weight printed on a package you've had for years. Then check the new version. On dozens of redesigned packages, the weight listing got smaller in font size on the new version. It's still there. It's just harder to find. Third, the rebrand. Companies time shrinkflation to a packaging redesign. New logo, new colors, fresh new look. The change in size gets buried in the excitement of the redesign. Consumers compare the new look to the old look. Nobody compares the net weight. Fourth, the unit confusion. One brand lists price per ounce. The one next to it lists price per serving. The one on the end cap lists a count. You cannot quickly compare 3 products that measure themselves in 3 different units. That is not an accident. Shrinkflation works because your brain tracks price, not weight. You know the cereal box costs $4.99. You do not know it used to hold 24 ounces and now holds 21.7. Now, here's the part of this story that should make you very uncomfortable. The companies that shrunk your groceries did not do it because they were struggling. In 2022, as Americans cut back on food, skipped meals, and worried about grocery budgets, Kraft Heinz increased its profits by 448%. Cal-Maine Foods, the largest egg producer in the United States, increased its profits by 718% in a single year. That is the same year Americans were paying $4 and $5 for a dozen eggs and blaming supply chains. Tyson Foods, chicken, beef, pork, doubled its profits in the final quarter of 2021 and reported record earnings in 2022. According to the Economic Policy Institute, corporate profits accounted for 54% of food price increases between 2020 and 2021. In the 4 decades before that, corporate profits accounted for 11% of food price increases. The rest was labor, materials, and logistics. Something changed. The supply chain crisis became the cover story. The prices went up. The packages got smaller. The profits went vertical. The Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City found that food and beverage companies' markups rose from just over 5% to 7% between 2021 and 2023, and stayed there even after supply chains normalized. Input costs came down. Prices did not. The crisis passed. The margins stayed. This is not inflation. Inflation is when costs go up and prices follow. What happened here is that costs went up, prices followed, and then costs came down, and prices did not move. There's a word for that too. Economists call it price gouging. Companies called it. Here's why this keeps working, and why it will keep working unless something structurally changes. The United States grocery market is dominated by 4 companies: Walmart, Kroger, Costco, Albertsons. Together, they control 75% of grocery sales. In 2000, the top 4 chains controlled 42.5%. By 2023, that number was 67%. Consolidation has been accelerating for 2 decades. When 4 companies control 75% of where Americans buy their food, those companies have pricing power. There is no competitive pressure to pass savings on to consumers. There is no mechanism that forces margins to come down. When Walmart and Kroger and Costco all face the same input costs and all face the same lack of competition, they all make the same choice. Prices stay high, packages stay small. On the manufacturing side, it is no different. 3 companies, Nestlé, PepsiCo, and Unilever, along with a handful of others, control the majority of consumer packaged goods on grocery shelves worldwide. They set the sizes. They run the rebrands. They decide when the bottom of the bottle becomes concave. This is not a market failure. A market failure is accidental. What Sarah is experiencing is a market working exactly as designed for the people who designed it. The rulebook says, you can quietly reduce what's in the box as long as you disclose the new weight somewhere on the label. You can change the container shape. You can time it to a redesign. You are not required to tell the consumer that the same-looking box now contains 12% less food. That rule was not written by consumers. It was written in a room. Let's go back to Sarah. Sarah's extra $3,484 per year did not go into a supply chain. It did not go to struggling farmers or overworked truck drivers. A Yale study estimates that if food company markups return to their pre-2020 levels, the average American household would save $1,200 to $1,800 per year. Sarah is not bad at math. She is not failing to budget properly. She is playing a game where the measurements quietly change every few months and no one tells you the score. But here is what Sarah can do. 1. Check the unit price. Every grocery store shelf has a small label showing the price per ounce or per unit. That number does not lie. When the box shrinks but the shelf price stays the same, the unit price goes up. That is the number to compare. Not the box, not the price, the unit price. 2. Buy store brand for the staples. Store brand coffee, cereal, dish soap, and toilet paper are often made in the same factories as the national brands, with a different label. They have not participated in shrinkflation at the same rate. The margin pressure is different. 3. Learn the original sizes. Folgers coffee is supposed to be 51 ounces. Gatorade is supposed to be 32 ounces. When you know the original, you cannot be tricked by the new. Keep a note on your phone. 5 products, the size they used to be. Check it once a month. Sarah's grocery bill will not come down overnight. The consolidation is not reversing. The margins are not self-correcting. Legislation requiring mandatory disclosure of size reductions exists in a handful of states and nowhere else. But the first thing they take when they redesign the package is your ability to notice. You just got that back. This is the quiet theft. It doesn't raise prices. It lowers quantities. It redesigns the box. It calls it a fresh new look. And it has been happening in your cart every week for 5 years. If this kind of structural explanation is useful to you, subscribe. New video.